Hi guys, welcome to the naming bases section in our notes. I am Miss Eller and I will be covering page 7 in your blue notes packet. Bases have a pH greater than 7, they can taste bitter and feel slippery. Many substances act as bases in chemistry with various formulas, but here in academic chemistry we're only going to focus on the hydroxides and also ammonia. Naming bases. Hydroxide bases are composed of a metal ion followed by a hydroxide ion. Naming bases is much simpler than naming acids. All that you need to do is name the cation your metal and then add hydroxide to the end. Our first example is NaOH. You're simply going to name Na your metal, sodium, and then follow it by naming your hydroxide ion, hydroxide, sodium hydroxide. The second example, you start out with your metal, Mg, by naming it magnesium, and then follow it by hydroxide, magnesium hydroxide. Your third example, start out with the metal, Li is lithium, followed by OH, hydroxide, lithium hydroxide. Our notes tell us that we also need to memorize ammonia, NH3, as we move forward in our base unit. Writing formulas for bases. Writing base formulas is very straightforward. First, you're going to find the formula of the cation and then you're going to add OH. You'll also need to crisscross the formulas so that the charges equal up to 0. We have 3 examples. Our first example is potassium hydroxide. I'm going to go down here to the bottom so that we can show our work and show our crisscross. So in potassium hydroxide, you first list out your cation and your hydroxide, showing potassium with the +1 charge and OH with the -1 charge. Then you are going to crisscross those charges. Your 1 is going to go on the outside of your hydroxide, and your -1 from the hydroxide comes outside the potassium. Now, whenever there is a charge greater than 1, we would need to use a parentheses, but in this case, there is not. So your final answer for the first example is KOH, and that's it. Example number 2, calcium hydroxide. First, you have to list out calcium as a +2, it's in group 2, and hydroxide as a -1. When we crisscross our charges, the 2 comes on the outside of our OH. Now you're going to need to use parentheses to protect your polyatomic ion here, and then you're going to take the 1 from the hydroxide over to the calcium. So your final answer is going to be Ca, open parentheses, OH, close parentheses, 2. Our third example, aluminum hydroxide. We need to list out our ions. Aluminum is a +3 and OH is a -1. So when we crisscross our charges here, the 3 from the aluminum comes on the outside of the OH, again using your parentheses, and the 1 comes down to the aluminum. So your final answer is AlOH3. At this time, you may begin working on your homework practice problems. Thank you.